know what? The NBA coming in hot on a Wednesday. An absolute barrage, Kevin, of news. This is when they hit the news wire. 9:07 a.m. Chris Paul in COVID protocol. 1 minute later, Kawhi is out indefinitely. Then front office news was like, hold my beer. 10:55, we find out Stan Van Gundy's a one and done. And NOLA, 30 minutes later, Scott Brooks and the Wizards broke up. Then after lunch, Mike Conley is out. Harden is in. Kyrie is out. It's like it was unbelievable how much news we had, Kev.
Certainly a day of big news around the league. News outside the playoffs that impacts the other stars like Zion and Russ is Stan Van Gundy, as you mentioned, out after just one season with the Pelicans. They went 31-41, missed out on the play-in tournament with Zion. And then Woj first reporting that Scott Brooks and the Wizards couldn't agree on a new deal, so he's out. It's official that he's out. He made the playoffs in 3 of his first 5 seasons. Back to the Pelicans' decision on Van Gundy.
If we're not all in with each other, this doesn't work. And we reached the point where it was clear that energetically we were not going to be that. So that's what this decision is. This is something that was very, very difficult to execute, but it revealed itself over some very open, candid conversations with a really, really good man.
Emotional David Griffin right there. 5 of the 6 teams with a vacancy have a 2021 All-Star, including 3 All-Star starters. Only one of them finished with a 500 or better record last season. That is the Blazers, while 4 of the 6 made at least the play-in tournament this past season. Senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski back with us here on SportsCenter. Woj, some surprising news here today, starting in New Orleans. Why was Van Gundy let go after 1 season?
Kevin, certainly as David Griffin alluded to, I think ultimately Griffin and Stan Van Gundy did not see eye to eye, I think, on team building, on how they were going to approach this organization moving forward together. And this is just after 1 year where they really got to know each other in the interview process, didn't know each other very well before that. And now certainly, listen, the clock is always ticking when you're in a smaller market and you've got young star players in your organization. Zion Williamson will be up for his rookie extension next year. He'll be on his 3rd coach in 3 years.
How about in Washington? Why did the Wizards part ways with Scott Brooks after an impressive second-half surge to make the playoffs?
Yeah, Scott Brooks did a good job in Washington and resurrecting this season. And I think Scott Brooks will be a head coach again somewhere else. I think ultimately Tommy Shepard in Washington, their GM decided that they could do better and that he was going to go out in the marketplace and try to improve, not just at the head coaching position, but with the coaching staff. You know, this is certainly a very important time for this organization as they continue to sell themselves to Bradley Beal to stay long-term.
Okay, let's move to Dallas, where the franchise didn't fire their coach, but they parted ways with longtime Mavs executive Donnie Nelson. Nelson spent 24 seasons with the franchise, holding various roles. Widely credited for the draft day acquisitions of Dirk Nowitzki and Luka Doncic. And obviously the franchise won its only title under Nelson in 2011. So, Woj, what impact will this have on the Mavericks moving forward?
Kevin, here's where it won't impact, and that's Luka Doncic's future with that organization. He will be eligible and offered a $200 million extension this offseason. And listen, I'm told that Luka's disappointed for Donnie Nelson. He was very fond of him and grateful that he made that draft day trade to bring him to Dallas. But life goes on for a star in the NBA, and players are not typically tethered to either head coaches or executives. And I don't expect that it's going to impact Luka Doncic's long-term view at this organization, although he liked Donnie Nelson very much.
Busy morning and afternoon around the league, and of course, Woj has you covered. Appreciate it, Adrian.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.